According to the Cambridge Dictionary, creativity is the ability to produce original and unusual ideas or to make something new or imaginative. According to Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, creativity is not a rare ability, it is not difficult to access. Creativity is a fundamental aspect of being human. It is our birthright and it's for all of us. Unquote. One of the mind's primary functions is focusing on chosen goals. Another is letting creativity happen. Despite common beliefs, creativity isn't solely for creatives and so-called people of art, but our mightiest tool for problem solving and accomplishing goals. Whether that is self-actualization, building a business, or creating a product, all involve some preliminary decision-making and plenty of creativity, and all can be works of art. According to any book on Western esotericism, practitioners are actual creatives, whereas artists accidental practitioners, especially when considering the nature of the work, causing changes to occur in conformity with will, which apparently includes problem-solving and achieving goals. Decision-making. Engaging your creative engine becomes possible after making the right decisions, and after doing so, the mind can alternate between intense focus and relaxation, enabling creativity to happen at any moment of the day, which it basically does. The crucial to remember from the get-go is that conscious thinking can only do so much. It basically jumpstarts and partially assists the process with the right choices. It also gathers the needed information, considering outcomes beforehand. Surrender. For actual creativity to kick in, you must surrender to the process, giving up the lust for results. This means thoroughly engaging with reality and living in the present moment as if there's nothing else. And according to William James, quote, "Once a decision is reached and execution is the order of the day, dismiss absolutely all responsibility and care about the outcome. Unclamp your intellectual and practical machinery and let it run free, and the service it will do you will be twice as good." It is but giving your little private convulsive self-arrest and finding that the greater self is there. The result slow or sudden, great or small, of the combined optimism and expectancy, the regenerative phenomena that ensue on the abandonment of effort remain firm facts of human nature. Unquote. The journey. Enjoy the ride by focusing on the small tasks that make the final solution. And this implies keeping yourself in flow, which Mihai Csikszentmihalyi defines as, quote, "a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience is so enjoyable that people will continue to do it, even at a greater cost, for the sheer sake of doing it." Unquote. Entering flow. Flow states are often explained as the middle ground between boredom and anxiety, and according to the Paul University's Owen Schaffer, there are several conditions that are mandatory for entering them. Knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, knowing how well you are doing, knowing where to go, perceiving significant challenges, perceiving significant skills, and being free from distractions. Clarity. In my humble opinion, these come naturally when you actually incorporate some preliminary reverse engineering, defining clear long-term and short-term goals, time priorities, and habit tracking. Decluttering. Decluttering your mind is also crucial, and a few ways to do so include eliminating exposure to useless information, usually on social media, rejecting emerging messages from the unconscious that have no validity, and keeping a healthy lifestyle, which is beyond the scope of this video. A single task. Equally crucial, both groups allow you to have the foundation of flow, which is focusing on a single task. For this, Csikszentmihalyi recognizes two essentials. 1. A distraction-free environment, and 2. Complete control of what you are doing at every moment. Psychic energy. Rubin explains that even in our daily lives, we are creators, creating our experiences of reality and perceptions of the world. And according to Csikszentmihalyi, quote, "Since what we experience is reality, we can transform reality to the extent we influence what happens in consciousness and thus free ourselves from the threats and the blandishments of the outside world." According to other definitions, the so-called esotericist work is causing changes to occur in consciousness so that proportionate ones can happen in the external world, which is basically one's life. And according to Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Attention. As mentioned, creativity extends beyond arts and crafts. So, after realizing you're a creative worker, start gathering your attention, which Csikszentmihalyi refers to as psychic energy. He also calls letting randomness create internal chaos and a chaotic life psychic entropy, so investing your psychic energy includes taking ownership and complete responsibility. And as we know from Tony Robbins, energy flows where attention goes. Burning desire. Next comes identifying the actual problem to be solved and the desired result. The second must evoke a burning desire fueling your intellect and decision making. And this can be viewed through Kabbalistic psychology and the tree diagram. Netzach, the sphere associated with passion and desire, is emanated by Geburah, embodying raw aggression and determination. Conversely, Hod, representing the intellect and logic, reflects Chesed, ruling the principles of expansion, development, and creativity. The critical detail is that for Hod's intellect to actually function properly, it must be fueled by Netzach's passion and desire, and this happens through the path of Mars, which is Geburah's other aspect. When these forces are balanced, Hod generates blueprints for arranging habits and systems, helping you become the person who can actually achieve your goals. This includes clarifying the right actions to be taken in the physical world of action, or Asya. Breaks. Now, whether you take advantage of the Kabbalistic perspective, taking breaks is mandatory as they let your creativity run uninterrupted, and this can be long walks, naps or rest, or using Microflow. Microflow. Csikszentmihalyi explains Microflow as a state entered during mundane tasks you actually enjoy. Examples include ordering your home or space and fighting entropy that way, cleaning, cooking, or decorating. Bill Gates is known for washing the dishes, following a peculiar routine. In such calmness and enjoyment, fresh ideas and solutions appear in the mind. And you can think of this as if it accesses realms it previously couldn't, or if you're a student of Kabbalah, as getting direct downloads from Braya, which is the creative world of ideas. Having coding as a side hobby, I know this is the case with many developers. After working on a problem for hours, the solution often arrives while they actually do something completely different and much less challenging. Besides taking a similar approach in his writing, Bertrand Russell recognizes its utility for solving life's challenges and accomplishing goals. Disconnect and detach. There are two common ways to stimulate creative problem solving by using disconnect as a tool. 1. Rest. Geniuses like Thomas Edison have utilized long-term rest and power naps. This means sleeping on a problem while letting your creative engine do its miracles. 2. Journaling. For some, this comes naturally as they already have a dream journal accessible next to their bed. You can use that or another journal to jot down ideas that may come in your dreams or when you wake up. You can also write and contemplate your intentions right before bed so they sink into your unconscious. And this is like planting seeds that will germinate into ideas, concepts, and even solutions. Clean slate. Speaking of detachment, Rubin explains that working on a piece or goal for too long can blur your vision of how things should go. While focus is essential, not taking breaks develops some blindness and even inaccuracy. To prevent that, Rubin suggests the practice of clean slate. Quote, "A way to practice keeping a clean slate is to avoid looking at the work way too often. If you finish a section or come to a sticking point, consider putting the project away and not engaging with it for a period of time. Let it sit for a minute, a week, or longer." Unquote. Although Rubin refers to different pieces of art, the same applies to building a business, a new skill, achieving transformation, etc. Creativity, not willpower. Quote, "Creative performance is spontaneous and natural as opposed to self-conscious and studied." Unquote. Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. As mentioned, conscious thinking and willpower play their initial role. Eventually, they must step back so the creative imagination can step in. Apparently, you really cannot will, force, or decision-make yourself into creativity or peak performance, despite what your favorite gurus told you. The key is to use those to set the right direction of your creative engine, or to write the instructions for the code to run. Once it starts running, you no longer negotiate or choose, not just because that leads to burnout and wasting psychic energy, but because it creates anxiety, potentially hindering the end result. Said differently, you're setting things in motion, so any afterward doubts appear in conflict with your intention, which, if you view it as an extension of your life purpose or ikigai, you're contradicting as well. As they say, quote, "Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will." Unquote. Avail of the now. One of the Stoic virtues is not ruminating over the past or getting anxious about what may go wrong in the future. Instead, Stoics remain grounded in the now, making the most of the present moment. In logotherapy, issues are addressed when and where they happen. All this implies being spontaneous enough to embrace new concepts when they actually arrive, but also not letting randomness ruin your day. Said differently, using spontaneity with moderation, which is another Stoic virtue. Let me know if you agree. Mindfulness. Such spontaneity is a skill requiring deliberate practice and development. This is where mindfulness comes in handy in several ways. Become mindful of your environment, make sure you stay present and alert and in control, and ask yourself, is this necessary at every moment, as Marcus Aurelius recommends. Essential for creative spontaneity is also making your habits and routines so instinctive that you go through them with no conscious effort whatsoever. You move from one moment to another, alternating between different flow states. Yet, based on my personal experience, this also takes time to develop. Quote, "Attuned choice by attuned choice, your entire life is a form of self-expression. You exist as a creative being in a creative universe, a singular work of art." Unquote. Rick Rubin, The Creative Act. Now, you can meditate on that and the notion that one's ikigai or life purpose is really a sequence of events, and perhaps let me know your conclusions. One day at a time. Flow psychology recommends focusing on a single task. Similarly, Sir William Osler, author of A Way of Life, suggests focusing on one day at a time. This means no matter how lofty your goals are, you should look no further than 24 hours, doing your best with your routines while letting spontaneity kick in. Biohacker and entrepreneur Aubrey Marcus takes a similar approach. According to him, you own your life by actually owning your day. Bullet journaling. As mentioned in some of my previous videos, Gurdjieff taught his students to write a goal or goals on a list and live their days with the intention of not deviating from them. In modern times, we have Ryder Carroll's bullet journal, which helps you identify precisely how and why you'll spend yours. Besides being a habit and a goal tracker, a bullet journal allows you to organize your day, so you have no choice but to stay in different flow states. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you agree. Check my digital assets, books and music. Subscribe to my channels, and thank you for your time.